All right, that's enough. Cut the music. Cut it. Everybody sit down. Be quiet.
Sick of this shit.
I'm sick of this bullshit introduction. Welcome to Inside BJJ Podcast, episode 371. I'm here with my producer, Andrew.
What's up, man?
Marheine.
New mic cable.
New mic cable looks good, huh?
Yeah, you did it yourself this time.
You like it?
Yeah, it's good.
Looks good on me, right?
It does.
I'm trying to slowly upgrade the equipment. It's been like some of it's really old and really cheap. Yeah. It's a little easier to get now, but man.
Well, like we were talking about before, mic cables are not cheap anymore.
Oh my God. Like
when I was banging doing vocals, I think I would sweat so much doing shows that I would sweat through mic cables like crazy. But I knew I would only be out like $15 to grab a new one.
Yeah, it's not like it's like $45 for the cheapest.
Is that what they took you for?
Just about.
and then the 5-foot cable.
And then I'm looking at it, and in the way they advertise the cheap one, they make it look so cheap compared to like the gold-plated one.
Gold plus premium diamond package.
I bet it's all the same shit.
It's copper wire, right?
Right. This is why people steal copper. Now I get it. Like,
yeah.
Man, they sell it to make guitar cables.
Yeah. By the way, in traffic cameras, there's around 2.5 pounds of copper. Do with that information what you will.
Holy cow. Man, it's good to be back. We're gonna try to get on the line with Jeff Glover. So if we're able to pull that off, he is going to be one of the coaches from PGF season 6.
Mm-hmm.
We will get him when that happens. So we might abruptly jump over to him or not. But man, PGF major news dropped, right?
Yes, it did.
Big deal.
Yes,
it was pretty cool having B-Mac in studio.
So sick. I love having him in here and being around him, whether he has info or not.
I love Brandon so much.
He's sick.
I've known him for such a long time, and it's such an interesting thing to see what's happening right now.
It's insane.
It's
insane.
Freaking crazy.
I mean, to have this lineup of coaches and then, the following podcast, be able to get one of them on and be like, hey, let's pick your brain about that. Now that you can talk about it, it's pretty sick.
Right.
That's awesome.
And he had, broken some tidbits down in the past, and I wanted to talk about it so bad.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to just say something, and I just kept going. There's big money coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. But it was really cool when he gave me the call and said, hey.
Yeah, well, dude, mum's the word, and you kept a secret. You got above top secret clearance.
Top secret, I know. Damn. Woo, passed the test.
Yeah, man.
But it was awesome to have him here in studio.
It was.
Got to see him the next day at the tournament. And if you're wondering, he challenged me.
I'm sure he
straight up challenged me.
It's on brand for him.
Yeah, it's on brand. As soon as I seen him at the tournament, same thing. Hands went up. We did like a Southern hands up, kind of like a square dance posture thing going for a little bit. And then it turned into more of like a West Coast Vato, like loking up on each other. And then it turned into a bro hug.
I heard something else happened.
What'd you hear happen?
A little bird told me that you didn't see him coming, and he just put his hands around your neck.
Oh, there's no way that would. There's no way.
That's what I heard.
If he reached up, I would do the standard Gracie self-defense. I would go 2-on-1.
Mm-hmm.
I would do a back step, put his arm behind his back.
Easy.
I would mess up that stem cell job he just got.
He'd hate that.
He'd be like, "Oh, my stem cells." It wouldn't be like his back. It'd be like, "My stem cells."
Do you think he got his stem cell work done at the Jug? It seemed to be all kinds
2
of
for the
stuff
price of 1 stem cells.
We'll do both shoulders.
I feel like if you claim stem cells, somebody's going to back off. It's like the modern day neck brace. Like nobody fucks with anyone that wears a neck brace.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing the battle royale.
And everybody was fucking with you.
Yeah, because when I wore
you
that
got handled.
Dude.
Showing up smoking all my cigs.
Smoking a cigarette and stretching. They're like, who's this guy? Yeah, but I feel like modern day, if you tell somebody like, oh, hey, be careful, I just had stem cell treatment. They're like, oh
no.
Watch out. I just got back in country. I was in Nicaragua. Yeah.
First time outside the country, and they're back in country.
Nicaragua. Getting stem cells.
I had to show my 2-year visa and everything.
Yeah. And I got a butt job when I was out.
I figured he was already digging around, get a BBL while I'm at it.
Digging around.
They're already cutting flaps.
I don't want anyone digging in my body.
Can you take some of this tit meat and put it in my butt? That's what I'd get done.
I asked my wife the other night, I'm like, how come nobody calls chicken breast chicken tit?
I do. I for sure do. I actually, when John and I worked at this It's like wholesale for restaurants.
Yeah.
I was in charge of meat, and he was in charge of another thing in the cooler, and we had access to change names of things in the
So
scales.
you actually would write it that way.
I would write chicken titties on the chicken breast, and I mean, no one ever called me on it. I wrote Daffy Duck legs. I wrote like Bugs Bunny, because we sold rabbit as well. So
Bugsies.
yeah,
nice.
Ham ass for pork butts.
Nice.
That was wild.
Southern stuff.
You're paying me $8.35 an hour. You're looking, I'm wearing pants.
Yeah, you're getting what you're paying.
You're getting what you're getting.
Yeah, that's for sure. PGF is paying $100,000.
That's a lot more than $8.35 an hour.
100 G's.
That's insane.
And you know what I like is they're giving these guys $1,000 just to show up.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Thanks for making the trip.
Thanks for coming in. We're gonna stream you on a show that's gonna have a bunch of eyeballs on it, and we're gonna pay you, and you're gonna have a bunch of good matches.
Oh, and Bruce, by the way, you're gonna be fighting in what looks like a John Wick wet dream room.
Dude, yeah, right.
Holy shit. The material that not only with our interview dropping with Brandon, but all the material that he's putting out on his Instagram, that Zoltan is putting on his Instagram, like all that stuff. It's just everything's coming together so nice. And as far as like aesthetic wise, it looks sick.
Yeah, it really does.
The more that I see them post about it, the more excited I'm getting about it.
Yeah, me too.
It's crazy.
I got really stoked. I talked to them yesterday. I talked to Brandon and Keelan, who's one of the partners, right? Keelan Lawyer, who's one of the partners in the PGF, about the pre-show, because I'm like, hey, I'm so stoked to do the pre-show. I'm like beyond excited.
Yeah.
It's time, baby.
Yeah.
I'm like, everyone, we're getting behind Brandon. Let's go. But when they said like, yeah, we're gonna like have you guys at a table, and then in the background is gonna be like, you know, the mat area where everything's gonna go down, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be so freaking cool.
And it's cool that you get to do the pre-show too, so you can talk some smack, you can get comfortable with everybody, and then you get to watch the match.
Then I get to watch the match
just as a fan,
just wander around.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can just get a full VIP wander around pass.
See if there's any secret doors in the castle.
I think Brandon will give it to me.
Oh yeah,
I think so.
Why not? He's a great guy.
I'm gonna go around him. I'm going straight to Zoltan.
You were just talking about 2-on-1 flipping him, but
yeah,
as long as he doesn't listen to that part, he should be cool with you doing
yeah.
it.
Hey, listen, buddy. that's for the streets,
correct?
Right, and this is business.
Yeah, this is business.
Business. We're hug brothers. When it gets out into the streets, it's different, man. It's mano a mano, dude. Protect your, jewels. Protect your throat.
Yeah,
that's
out in the streets. Game. He wants a piece.
Yeah,
as far as what he says.
If we're out on the streets, according to him, he's coming.
He's
coming
peace.
for it.
I'm gonna get mine.
Yeah. So I'm stoked, man. I'm gonna be heading out there in April. Looking forward to getting coaches on, talking to them on the podcast.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah. It's really fucking good for jiu-jitsu. It's
really
about
good.
time. It really is about time. And I think that he's got enough goodwill and enough resource built up, and there's enough people interested right now that they could really pull something big off.
Absolutely.
I really think he's got the ability to do it.
Absolutely.
So I'm beyond excited about.
And not only bringing outside people to the sport, but being able to facilitate the ability to pay the competitors what no one has been paid but to do before. That's also that's insanely cool.
Yeah, it really is. Also stoked, not as giant on an international level, but pretty big for us here in Nashville, especially 10th Planet Nashville. We got 5 guys going up a fight to win this Friday night.
Little hometown beef.
Yeah, man. 5 dudes. Nathan Baggett, which I love that last name. It's very Lord of the Ringsy.
It is a bit.
Hello. I think he should come out like
Bilbo Baggett.
He should come out very Bilbo-ish. You know what I mean? Like, he should figure that out.
The Shire.
Dressed up in characters.
You get walkout songs. You get the Shire theme song.
There you go.
When it comes out.
What is a Shire theme song? Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I can see that, Peter Jackson.
Okay.
So we got him, Logan, is it Malatak? I think
it's Malatak.
Malatak's leading it off.
Bitchin' last name.
First fight of the night.
First fight, 5
First
PM
fight
sharp.
of the night, leading off the fight to win card. And fight to win's like a marathon. If you've never like been to a fight to win show, like they'll do 30 jiu-jitsu matches.
Worth your time. They do a great job.
They really do a nice job. And so Logan's leading the card off for 10th Planet Nashville. I'm stoked. Haven't seen him compete yet.
He's a beast in here, though.
But he's pretty damn good in here. And he's one of these dudes who was kind of just traveling the country and training, going places and kind of hanging out, and settled here in Nashville, showed up, and it's been like man, every day we're banging. You know what I mean?
You get your back, it's a problem.
Yeah, it's a serious problem. Who else we got? We got
Tyler Sage.
Tyler Sage, our wrestling coach, is on the card. Looking forward to seeing him. He had a stellar performance at New Breed last week.
Yes, he did.
Just ran through his division. Looked really good. And he's a great wrestler. Like
yes, he is.
You think you can wrestle? You think like, oh, I'm doing jujitsu. I'm gonna pick up some wrestling, and then you wrestle with like a wrestler, and you're like, I can't wrestle.
D1 boy from Florida.
Yeah,
you're not wrestling.
You don't know what the hell you're doing. You're gonna tell me that's what you are.
Everything is at his allowance.
Yeah, you're a big, stupid, dumb guy. That's what you are. You're a dumb 45-year-old man who has no business trying to wrestle this guy. No. He looked good. He is up on the card. We got that was 3. Who's number 4? Noah Freeman. Noah's going out there. Young Noah. He's gonna have a hell of a match against Alexander Joss. Alex is a cool dude, man.
Alex is a cool dude.
He comes into open mat all the time. Yeah. We get lots of cool rolls, and he's a really good dude. So I'm really looking forward to that match. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Noah does, dude. Because
yeah, absolutely.
Noah's putting the pain on me, dude. Like on a regular basis, he's putting the hurt on me. So
he's been mean to me lately.
Yeah, he has not been polite. He has not been nice at all. Like not even a little bit. And then we got Sam Ferrone Davies, right? He is fighting on the Fight to Win card as well as a brown belt. Yeah. So we're stoked to see that. I'm looking forward to seeing him compete. Sam and Tyler have been out there getting after it, like putting the work in. Sam was down at the 10th Planet qualifiers, putting work in, man, like had a really great match. So I'm really looking forward to these guys getting out there.
Tomorrow should be great.
Yeah. And we've been out in Nashville for just a couple years trying to make a mark, and it takes time. Like you can't just roll into town and be like, hey, check it out. Come check us out. There's a lot of good schools out here. There's a lot of good jiu-jitsu out here. So you really got to like make a mark, you got to dig in if you're going to make a mark. So that's what we're trying to do.
We got a fun day Saturday too. Speaking of Brandon.
I know, man. Got the seminar for Guardian Gym down at 10th Planet Decatur.
A little San Quentin action.
Little San Quentin. I'm really pushing the San Quentin Escape series. Fun. It's fun. It's not perfect. I'm still learning some parts of it, but I have a lot of success with it.
Me too.
Sometimes it gets, sometimes it gets shut down and I got to do some other kind of side control escape, but that's the whole game anyway. Like nothing works every time, all the time. So this is just one of those options that's kind of a more exotic option that many people haven't seen before.
Well, here's one deal too, is that exotic or otherwise, coming from my perspective, and I was newer a lot more recently than you are. I think one of the most Googled things for new guys as far as jiu-jitsu goes is how the hell do I get out of side control?
Yeah.
And having more tools to be able to do that.
Right.
Even if just to stall and not let it progress to something worse.
Yeah.
Having those tools is amazing.
Yeah. No, absolutely it is. You need all of it.
Yeah.
And you learn that if you're going to be an effective grappler and you're going to grapple for a long time, then you kind of need all those tools. Yeah. Now, look, if you're like, I'm trying to win 80cc trials. Well, there is a specific game that you probably should be playing, or certain style of a game you should really be honing in on. But to pretend that that's the only thing everyone in jiu-jitsu should do, it's kind of dumb.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Because 90% of the people that do jiu-jitsu, they're doing it on their mats at their home school against the same damn people they roll with day in and day out. They're not doing all these tournaments and doing all this crazy wild shit. There's no kumites for them. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It was like Brandon said last week, basically anybody you've ever rolled with wasn't good.
Wasn't good.
For the most part.
For the most part.
When you're comparing them to those dudes.
Yes.
And yeah.
So, and you got to be realistic about that. And those people are the ones that are buying all the tickets for all these events and paying for the DVDs and doing all that stuff. So you got to give those people what they want. And what they want is they want San Quentin escapes.
That's right. Correct.
That's what they want.
That's at least what I've heard.
That's what they're going to get, whether they want it or not.
And you're going to get it this Saturday at 11 in Decatur.
Yeah. So if you can make it out, that'd be awesome. And all the money is going to the Guardian Nashville Scholarship program, which is for teens, letting them train jiu-jitsu for free, trying to find the right kids, trying to help out, trying to make trying to make a real difference, and also, you know, like continue what we're doing out here at the same time, you know, and expand it and make it bigger. So
cultivate an amazing environment through voluntary violence.
Well, I never thought any of this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I never in a million years thought I would end up in Nashville.
Like, yeah, especially born, raised, and staying in Stockton.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, it was the furthest thing that
literally cross country.
Entered my mind. So it's just been a wild experience to be out here, and then to be setting up shop out here, and then to actually be growing out here and doing different things and expanding out here, and still having what we have back in Stockton.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, still adding on to the other gym and being a part of that.
Yeah,
and cultivating that and that kind of thing. Yeah,
yeah, it definitely wasn't planned, but you know, it's what happened. And now I got a bunch of fucking soldiers, which is rad, and they're all like sweet. Trying to kill me. They're like, I guess that's good. Every time they see me out in Stockton, they're like, oh man, when are we gonna roll?
Yeah,
especially Mike. He's just wants to hurt me so bad.
I want to roll with Mike every time I see him post.
He wants to go to the dark side. I already know he's on the dark side.
I want to hurt Mike.
Yeah, you want to hurt Mike too.
Yeah. I like Mike.
I like Mike too. I want you to hurt Mike.
I really want to.
Yeah, I want to wrist lock Mike.
He gave me a nasty bicep slicer last time he rolled.
He's good.
I was upset.
He's really always training too, which is
he is
awesome, and I respect that.
He's got a bunch of cute rash guards he wears too.
His little short shorts. And
I love them.
Cute rashies.
I'm paying attention. I don't react to them, but I just watch them.
You're paying attention. That's for sure. Yeah. So if you can make it to Decatur, man, come on out. Come and see us.
11 a.m. Decatur time.
Go to insidebjj.com/register. You could pre-donate, or you could donate at the door. It doesn't bother me.
Then there's a big old happy open mat right afterwards. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, that will be fun. So, man, dude, let's do This Week in Gordon Ryan.
Okay.
So, we got to let me set it up a tiny bit. It's the first time it's ever been done. So we're like, how are we going to do this? I had this idea. I wanted to do this thing called This Week in Gordon Ryan. And I wanted to just basically read his Instagram post, like straight away, just read them. Right. And it's just like some of the stuff he says, I just don't want it to be said in my voice. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't want
he can get away with saying it.
The government spy machine like coming after me, man. You know, I'm just trying to wet my beak, slide under the radar, do a little jujitsu on the way, leave a little something back for my kids, man. That's it. That's all I'm trying to do. So I wanted to have like This Week in Gordon Ryan, and then we would read whatever his Instagram message was, good or bad. And it wasn't like the kind of material that I could depend on week in and week out. So I decided to, use modern technology, and I turned to AI. And through, one thing that some of the listeners may remember about me or not is that I'm very handy, like with software engineering, and got, know my way around that quite well. So one of the things I did is I trained this AI engine, right, over the course of many, attempts and trial and error and feedback and trying to fine tune this thing. I have basically trained a Gordon Ryan AI. And one of the things that I have this AI give me is a, This Week in Gordon Ryan Instagram post. And it's very reliable. And it's very, very good. So
you'd think it might actually be Gordon Ryan, in fact.
It's not bad. So I'll just tell you this. I'm a huge Gordon Ryan fan. So
me too.
Don't get me wrong. I think Gordon Ryan's great for jiu-jitsu. I really do. There were several iterations of this tool. And one of the iterations was a lot nicer version of him. And I had to prompt it like, okay, I like how you're gloating, but I need more. I need it to be a little excessive, you know,
a little
like
bit caliente.
Yeah, I need you to cross the line a little bit. I need it to make you a little uncomfortable. You know, then we're in the Gordon Ryan territory.
You're going about it like a sommelier.
Yeah.
I need just a little
this. A little more discomfort in what you're saying. Okay. So that's what this is. You ready? Let's cue up that music.
We have some This Week in Gordon Ryan music. This week in Gordon Ryan.
Another day, another chance to show why I'm the king of the mats. While most are still dreaming in their beds, I'm here turning sweat and pain into undisputed greatness. To those who think they can match me, remember, I'm not just playing the game, I'm redefining it. Watch and learn or get out of the way. This isn't just jiu-jitsu, it's the Gordon Ryan Show. Stay jealous.
It sounds. Are you sure he didn't write that?
Doesn't that sound awfully a lot like him?
That sounds like one of his Instagram posts.
Yeah, it does, and then it's a hashtag I rule the mats Nikki. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's even got the hashtags on point.
That's pretty sweet.
I did a little too good of a job with this thing. It's like up to date. You know what I mean?
You know what I'd love if he just subcontracts out you to just write his post for him.
I could do that. We could do that,
and then he just has more time to do jiu-jitsu.
Gordon Ryan AI.
Yeah,
I got to
Gordon AI in.
Gordon AI in. That's great. The whole thing is like, okay, it's him, and then at the end, it's like, stay jealous. I'm like, oh my god,
fuck you, Nikki.
I love you, AI. How is it so good?
That little dig at Nikki's funny too.
I know. How did it know how to hashtag? It just did. Just did it. It's freaking crazy. Have you used ChatGPT very much? Like
I use it a lot. Actually, yeah. I'm writing 2 books right now.
Yeah,
and
You mean it's writing 2 books?
No, so I was tempted.
Are you that guy? You telling people
no.
You're like one of these guys who says you're a CEO and you have a business and you got a PPP loan, but like you actually don't do anything.
I think my LinkedIn says I am a CEO of something. It's something ridiculous. I forget. I've actually had like job offers from other companies that say like, we're looking for a CEO. I'm like, I am underqualified. I am also lying.
It's just like mindless bots running the internet. Like 80% of the internet.
It's got to be.
It's a.
Well, I think there was something. I can't remember the exact statistic, but something like 60-something% of some interactions on Reddit over the last few months have been bot.
Nobody wants to do anything.
No, especially in an election year.
Sally, who's trying to hire for her job, right? Who works in HR? She's going to LinkedIn, and she's just relying on like LinkedIn gut instinct, whatever. I think this is a good one, but like nobody knows. It's just a piece of paper.
Yeah.
People make up all kinds of wild shit.
Like
you can't question anybody on anything.
Yeah.
It's all like, oh, you questioning me? Like,
yeah, no one that looks the way I do is actually the CEO of anything. And I'm the CEO on LinkedIn.
I want to know the company name, man.
I'll try to find that.
Yeah.
At some point.
I'm the CEO of Gag Inc.
I gotta be honest with you. I don't even know if I remember the email I used to log into that thing.
Dude, that's hilarious.
I was getting LinkedIn to find a trade job when I was out of work in Richmond like 10 years ago.
Right. How did we even get on LinkedIn, man?
Well, you were talking about ChatGPT and whether I've used it before.
Yeah.
I used it to edit. And I'm actually better at editing than I am at writing, in my own opinion. I don't know if I'm good at either, but in my opinion, I'm better at editing. And I'm still using it to edit when I write because I enjoy writing more than editing.
It's a powerful tool.
It's a powerful tool.
It wrote my student handbook for
really?
jiu-jitsu.
Your curriculum is all AI?
Not my curriculum, my handbook. So when you sign up, you get an email, and in your email, there's a link to a PDF file.
Oh, really?
And it's like a 6-chapter handbook. It's not too long, but I said like, hey, give me a handbook for jiu-jitsu. I want it to cover these topics, be about 10 pages. And it did it. And then I said, oh shit, make it up for no-gi jiu-jitsu. And it did it. And then I said, hey, make sure you emphasize the hygiene section and make sure there's something in there about wearing flip-flops and making sure your nails are trimmed.
And can you write it in the voice of Gordon Ryan talking shit?
Yeah. And can you write it in the voice of, well, it's wild what it can do. It's actually pretty cool.
It's ridiculous. I've actually had an interaction with it where I told it to write a poem in the style of Edgar Allan Poe and H.P. Lovecraft, and it spit something out in less than a second that I was like, I can tell, and also I'm biased because I was the one that told it to do it, but I could tell a bit that it was not quite right, but it was almost there.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's scary how close that is to, like, I think the average person that's not familiar with either of those two writers would be like, oh, a person wrote this for sure.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting to you that and I'm sure this is not a unique thought, but it's something I've been thinking about just listening to a lot of Rogan and stuff, talk about AI and all the dudes he's had on lately about it. Isn't it interesting that when dudes like Andrew Yang were campaigning, they were saying, like, when AI comes in, it's going to take over jobs. Like I got a trade job, like manual labor. It's going to take, and a lot of those people are going to be out of work. I don't think that's still out of the possibility, but it's interesting that what it's getting big for now is all the creative jobs are just getting eaten up.
Yeah.
With the ability to outsource it to AI.
Well, I think, it's really hard to create a machine to do a human's job. It's not impossible, but there's a lot of work that goes into it, and there's a lot of maintenance that goes into these machines that build things, right? There's like serious oversight for these types of things. So the idea that you can have these machines that replace humans and make human decisions, yes, it's possible. It's just we're not there yet. And the ultimate fantasy is that the AI builds the machine itself somehow, right? Which is, who knows how that's going to play out. Nothing gets done unless it's economical for it to be done. That's just how the world works, right? So what's economical right now is people are realizing, I don't need a writer to write my student handbook. I don't need to go to Kinko's. I don't need to trade with some student that's really good with words. I don't need a technical writer. I just do it myself. And it's happening everywhere, not just that, right? I mean, but especially in the creative side, but it's also happening, I think, on the analytical side of things too. And it's just one of those things that it's going to cause an even bigger paradigm shift.
How long until we have an AI jiu-jitsu coach?
Oh, we probably already have one.
You think?
Probably.
Does he give out promos? And do you know where I can get to him?
Well, I think I don't think he can right now. I don't think it can measure you as a student. I think it can just espouse one way.
What if I prompt it to say, like, hey, can you coach me as if I'm a good student?
It could coach you, but I don't think it could like see you. I don't think that the camera and all of that technology is quite available for it to all be plugged into like a real-time coaching system. You know what I mean? But if you could, then you could be like an interdimensional coach. You could be coaching everyone at the same time, watching every round.
Yeah. Robo-jitsu.
God coach.
God coach.
God jits. The ultimate. What color's belt would God be? I feel like he would be a white belt because it's all white. Maybe purple, like royal blue, crimson red.
Crimson red. Well, I mean red. That's the last one, right? And only.
Yeah, but I mean, God would have his own color, right?
Probably color we can't perceive.
Transparent.
He would know belt. He transcends belts,
dude.
Because he was born knowing it, right?
Yeah. What if he has like a special uniform?
Everybody's gonna have to like make their own versions of it then.
Yeah,
because everybody's gonna want that God drip,
bruh. There's some dope ass martial arts uniforms.
There's some sick. I was looking at rash guards the other night. Actually, I was thinking all the shit from Raven Fightwear, and I don't have any interaction with them, but they have like a headless horseman. They have fucking Frankenstein, all kinds of cool shit.
I wonder what the rest of the martial arts world thinks about jiu-jitsu, because I remember in 2006 going to the Disney Martial Arts Festival, and I know, dude, doing it. There was a tournament there, and I went up against 10th Planet guy, which is insane.
This is before you were 10th Planet?
Way before I was 10th Planet. And I beat him twice, by the way. But who cares, right? But I did win. Okay. So I don't even remember who it was, actually.
It's no big deal, but I just want to put
I won, and it was Disneyland, and I have a medal that's shaped like Mickey Mouse. It's up in you could see it.
That's my favorite of your medals.
Yeah. I don't have many medals. I wasn't a great competitor. I was just average. I was middle of the road, man. Like, whatever. But I do remember that one, mostly because there were only like 15 jiu-jitsu guys there. And we were in a gigantic convention center. Like it as far as you could see, it was just mat area after mat area with every kind of martial art you could dream of. It was all under that roof. I'm talking all of them.
You said you got like kung fu dudes walking in.
Kung fu, gung fu.
Gung fu.
You know, like the Hawaiian karate mullet guys that wear cut off like black t-shirts, and like there was like a whole crew of them. They had like their own martial arts thing going on. There were so many, but they had the coolest outfits, man. Some of these dudes had silk gis on, like the old kung fu, like super cool guys. Silk, yeah. Yes, man.
Like Ip Man.
They look like Bruce Lee villains. That's awesome. It was really dope.
I kind of wish like jiu-jitsu's badass enough. I feel like, and funny enough in the community, that we could just probably say like, oh, can we just take their uniforms?
Yeah.
And just use them in the gym.
I just wonder what they think of our uniforms. Our uniforms have gotten better.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Used to just be like, literally, we were wearing surfing uniforms. We borrowed from the surf world.
Yeah.
We wore board shorts,
like literal rash guards.
And literal rash guards that had a little neck on it. You know, it's like
that would protect you from coral and
protect you from ringworm. I guess. Ringworm, it's hypoallergenic. Yeah, man. Martial arts guys always have the coolest uniforms.
I think so, and I think you said you wonder what other people would say about it. I think I would only respect the opinions of like Muay Thai, boxing, wrestling, and a couple of the other good ones. But anybody else has some shit. I find that the wackier the uniform, the less likely that shit is to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It seems like also anything invented by an American is like, you know what I mean? Like he learned from some guy, then he made up his own thing. It's like, okay. All right. I'm not talking jiu-jitsu, wrestling, striking. I'm talking like on the martial artsy side.
So like Eastern martial arts. You have like Sifu Craig.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
Look, standard, open up the phone book, pick a guy that has a bunch of animals on his ad.
I'm Kung Fu Steve. Come on down.
Yes. Kung Fu Steve.
And your dojo is in the same shopping center as a Pizza Hut.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I think
fucking
tracking.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
It's like, yeah, I know Kung Fu, my Sifu Steve. Oh, so you don't really know Kung Fu.
Bro, right? I made the mistake one time. I worked with this lady whose husband was a Sifu.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking mad trash on this martial arts school that was in town that was really popular. I was just gunning.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy thing is my cousins used to go to that martial arts school when they were kids, and my aunt would let me tag along, and I would sit on the side of the mat and watch. I wanted to do it so fucking bad. You know, I was just like salivating watching these kids do martial arts. Like, oh man,
I want to fight too.
I got to do it. And then my mom forbade me from going. She said, Timmy gets too hyper. He won't stop throwing punches and kicks. Gork's out. I get all emotional. Fight my cousins.
We can't have him actually knowing shit.
No.
He'll kill people.
Crying, kicking and crying. Just like
throwing.
We think something's wrong.
The last thing we need is him throwing effectively violent tantrums.
Yeah. So they're like, he's not allowed to go. Then they made up the rule that we weren't even allowed to say the word martial arts in the house. It was completely banned from the house.
Is this forbiddance, if that's a word? Is that where like your only access then was WWE?
Oh yeah, because you know my parents were very strict growing up, very strict. But my dad did make an allowance for pro wrestling because he loved pro wrestling.
Yeah,
and his dad loved it, and his dad's dad loved it.
Funny how that works.
Yeah, so we got that, and thank God we got that, man, because that was like a whole nother world that we got to live inside and learn about life through. And I tell people all the time, I learned everything I need to know about life from watching pro wrestling. It's all there, man.
That's an amazing sentence.
It's all there. That's how life works. Life works like pro wrestling. And once you realize that, it gets way easier.
I'm going to give you an opportunity to defend that with an example.
Okay. For example, people don't know how to put people over.
Okay.
And it's a problem. All right. Here's what I mean. everyone's concerned about getting put over themselves. They want everyone to say their name and lift them up and call them out and heart them and big them up and turn them up and dab them up and gas them up and set them off. Everybody wants that. But when it comes time for them to give the favor back, hand the praise back out, give some love back out to somebody, they can't bring themselves to do it. And it's a real problem. It's a serious problem. Now, pro wrestling teaches you, in order to get over, you got to put over. And that's just the way the game works. So you understand that there's value in putting other people over yourself and helping them and pushing them forward and making them look good or vouching for them in a way in front of another group of people, putting them over. That's something I learned from pro wrestling.
You've thought about that a lot.
I mean, it's real.
You could have just said it's, occasionally.
Listen, you asked for an example. I told you that I learned everything I needed to learn.
Okay.
And so I gave you a heartfelt example.
Listen, I'm not trying to upset you.
Well, it's too late for that.
You could have just told me occasionally you want to poop on a lady if it's WWE.
Listen, man.
That's been in the news.
I love Doink the Clown. Yeah, it has. I can't stop reading about it. I can't
fall from grace.
I cannot. I just listen, man. I can't believe that happened. Maybe it did. I'm just saying, look, nobody likes poop.
No, I certainly don't. That wasn't like a, hey, man, I do. It was more like a, I know some shit. I've seen some wild stuff.
You just gave me a look like, not everybody doesn't
Everybody
like
dislikes it. I dislike it. Just so we're clear.
Oh, my gosh. That was fantastic. That's why I love you, Andrew.
Because I don't love poop.
That was great, man. Well, I don't think we're getting Jeff Glover today, but that's okay, man.
Hopefully soon.
Well, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. Super stoked though, for what Brandon's doing. And I wanted to he just texted me, yo, I'm sorry. I just woke up. LOL. Classic Jeff Glover. Did I tell you this? I told you, hey man, it could happen. Jeff Glover, I know, does that from time to time. That's all right. We'll get him back in.
Can't wait.
Yeah. I don't want to just bust it on him at the last second. But I wanted to talk about just for a minute, like the history of submission grappling.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna and I know that I don't have it all down. So don't, if you're at home and you're listening, don't get all pissed off. Okay. And I mean in the modern era, okay. I'm trying to think the events that I can remember, and I think the most recent one in modern time, I think, was called like Submission Grappling X, maybe. I'm gonna try to look it up. I remember there was a match with Randy Couture and Jacare.
Really?
Yeah, let me see. Jacare Souza. It was a grappling super fight. It was called PSLX Mission, and it was like in 2006. It was a precursor to Metamoris. John McCarthy was the ref. It's on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube. It's I remember that event. I remember it being pretty popular, but I don't really remember anybody making any money off of any of those events in a way where they would do more than one. I think that organization might have done two.
Really?
Maybe they did two.
I'm seeing a 2006 one. In November 1st, 2006, with Marcelo Garcia and Jake Shields. That's a big one that's popping up.
Yep.
There's a video for that one as well, if anybody's interested. Yeah, Marcelo and Shields. Advertising it as the biggest no-gi grappling event in the world at that time.
Yeah, it was a big deal. But okay, let's think about this. In 2006, were you paying to stream things online? This is almost 20 years ago.
So I didn't graduate high school in 2011. So no, I don't even know if we had Netflix streaming at that point.
But this is my point.
Right. Like, I think in 2006, I think
I don't
Netflix
think so.
was the closest thing, and we were doing the DVDs by mail. There was no streaming.
And streaming originally from Netflix was dog shit.
Originally, yeah.
Nobody liked it. You used Netflix for the DVDs, and we thought they were idiots. Like, we're getting over on them.
I don't remember what the figure was, but I think at some point when they offered that, we paid the $5 extra. By we, I mean my dad paid the extra $5 for the streaming, and we kept the DVD service because that was more reliable than the streaming was at that point.
That's what we did too. And then eventually it was like, oh,
this is better.
When they announced they were gonna like have a movie studio, everyone thought they were out of their minds.
I think, I remember that too.
But my point is back then, the model of selling pay-per-views on the internet for a jiu-jitsu show just didn't really exist. As far as I can remember, I remember back as far as like 2008, buying the DVDs for Worlds, not watching it live online, but like buying the DVDs. And I know that Caleb and the Fightworks podcast guys used to do some of the streaming and the commentary and the play-by-play, and the name of the company that they were with for some reason is dropping out of my head. And I Budo Videos. Budo Videos was a major player back in the day. In a weird way, it kind of sucks in a way. Like, what I mean is, there were a lot of people that were involved in the jiu-jitsu world, say 10 or 15 years ago, that put a lot of work and money into it,
trying to get it built up.
Yes, and there was just no return, man. And they just, they didn't get anything monetary wise at all. There was no return on investment.
Yeah.
They made great friendships, they did cool shit, but they didn't get any of that investment back. But they furthered the state of the art. They pushed it forward, and then people kept pushing it forward to where now it's at a point where it's a real, like, a valid thing, man. People are paying to watch these super fights on television.
Yep.
So back then it didn't exist. And then EBI came out, and I want to say the first couple EBIs, I don't remember those even being on the radar in a big way in the very beginning. I think when Halleck Gracie did Metamoris, something in the jiu-jitsu, the overall jiu-jitsu consciousness, like, woke up to grappling super fights. And even though a lot of those dudes were in the gi, I think it was especially no gi grappling super fights that people were like, oh, this sub only super fight format is really freaking cool. And then that's when you saw, like, it's our version of the Monday Night Wars. It was EBI and Metamoris going back and forth, event for event, and then Polaris jumped in. And I'm sure there were other organizations, but you had the Zapatero Invitational, and you had some of the other ones, but those seemed like they were the main ones back in the day.
It looks like there were 6 of those as well. Metamoris.
Oh yeah, there were. I went to a few. I went to the first one for sure, which was awesome. Got to go and do the press thing at that one. Had a great time. Was historic.
Did you meet Halleck at that point, or was it before then you guys knew each other?
I had just met him briefly before that.
Gotcha.
In the run up to that. Yeah, it wasn't like, I met him through the podcast.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't like we were hanging out or anything like that.
I gotcha.
But, I felt like, look, I've done my share of poking around at Halleck, for sure. It's just like I've poked around at most people that are in jiu-jitsu, myself included. Some people really take him very personal, you know, and the fact that there's still money on the table, I think that he owes some of these guys from past events is just some people on the, at least, excuse me. Sorry about that. At least on the internet, they are like, screw him. He's a piece of garbage. You know, no love, no support. They don't care until he pays everybody every penny he owes them. They don't want to hear nothing from him.
That sucks.
It does. I get it in a way, but in my experience, the jiu-jitsu crowd is very self-righteous. Like, the minute anything goes south, they bandwagon against it. They never bother to look into anything, and they never follow back up and say if they were right or wrong.
Yeah, I've
most typical crowd behavior anyway.
Yeah, it's like a real life Reddit board. I think that's a lot of that comes through on those Reddit bangs we do, and that you've done for a long time. And it's one of the reasons I love to do those.
It's so ridiculous, so obvious, right?
Yeah, I've never personally jumped on that kind of crap.
Yeah,
through this avenue anyway.
There's something about jiu-jitsu that still makes you feel like you're in a secret club when you start. So excuse me, what I mean by that is, even though everyone knows about it and it's popular, there's still a part of people when they come, they're like, oh, I'm learning these moves that my friends don't know. And like, I could actually do something to somebody. I could do this, I could do that. And then they develop a weird little like us versus them kind of mindset. And then they turn on each other, right? So it becomes like our school versus their school, our style versus their style, you know, our philosophy versus their philosophy. And it becomes a problem because people already didn't like Halleck because he made a rap about jiu-jitsu. They thought that was corny. They, some people had a chip on their shoulder towards his older brothers. They're gimmicky. They were the first to really put jiu-jitsu online, which is a no-brainer now. By the way, everybody out there has an online system. Did they promote? Yeah, they did promote online, and then they backed off of it, and they calibrated. They did the right thing. Those guys are dope. Okay, Henner, Heat-On, Halleck. I've rolled with Halleck. Halleck's fucking good.
Me too.
You know, just because Gordon Ryan beat him, well, Gordon Ryan beats 99.9% of the people he rolls with. Like, you know, Heat-On's good, dude. I watched Heat-On lay on his back and give Andre Galval mountain side control, and Andre not be able to finish him. So
yeah, I appreciated everything Halleck allowed me to do because I could feel from in the first 5 seconds, it's like, oh, there's no way.
There's no way in
the universe I occupy.
No, you come to realize that you know, there's some people, jiu-jitsu's, they got it by osmosis. They came out of the womb and it was just like seeped into
especially with that last name too.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I'm not a Halleck apologist. I'm just saying I always was interested in what he was saying because I want to see the sport grow.
Yeah.
And every organization that came out, I was like, yeah, man, I hope they freaking get it, you know. And now it looks like PGF is really gonna make a push, man. Yeah. So I think that's
the evolution from that kind of like
outstanding.
Yeah,
you got to talk a little bit. I got to hit my inhaler.
Yeah, the evolution of what it seems like it's been from. Like, it's hard for me to really describe how I feel about the earlier stuff because I wasn't around for that. Speaking of like 2006, I don't even know if I was completely aware of jiu-jitsu being its own thing and not just something that was used in the UFC at that point. And, you know, to think of that, like, you were probably, what belt were you in 2006? Like,
I just got my blue belt.
Okay. So you'd already been in for a little while. You know, the Gracies were banging much earlier than that, obviously. And a lot of the legends we look at now are banging a lot earlier than that.
If you came in, anybody that came in pre-2000 was like there wasn't a lot of those guys. There was a handful of those guys. The guys I was training with, most of those guys had started jiu-jitsu in like 02, 01 or 02, right around that. They had about 5 or 6 years on me when I started.
Wow.
I started in 05. So they had about 5 or 6 years. Some of them were pre-2000, you know. They were purple belts in 05.
I was about to guess that like a lot of the upper belts probably stopped around you at like purplish.
Yeah, these guys
probably watched them go to brown and black.
And because of politics, You know, one of them I beat to black belt, which is insane.
That's
which
crazy.
is insane. But
well, I mean, just what I was going to say is that I feel sort of at a disadvantage, and I feel like I'm talking about shit that I don't know about to try and speak about what that was like, because I wasn't even aware of what was going on back then. But just from the videos and what I've heard you describe and other guys describe, the evolution of this going to what Brandon's now doing is just
it's mind-blowing.
Like night and day. But it's all crazy. Of that other stuff had to happen for that to also happen, it seems like.
There was a lot of people trying a lot of different things to push it. And I think if the jiu-jitsu world honest, it's the rise of mixed martial arts. This is all MMA money. This is all MMA platforms. It's all MMA. MMA pulled jiu-jitsu up with it. Although jiu-jitsu probably is one of the cornerstones of mixed martial arts. I wouldn't say it's the most important thing. People are probably going to say wrestling. They're probably right. Okay. But submissions and submission defense, you can't say that that's not part of the game. And then you can't say that's not jiu-jitsu. What is that?
Yeah.
You know, it's catch wrestling. Okay. It's submission wrestling. Okay. That's all jiu-jitsu to me.
Yeah.
In my brain, because most wrestling oriented things involve a pin, which doesn't exist in the jiu-jitsu world. It's a different concept.
Well, we go further than the pin.
Judo's the only hybrid that has a pin and a submission. I don't know if
And then there's sects of judo that just go on. It's over when the throw is.
Does Sambo have a pin?
I believe so.
And it has submissions also.
Of it, yeah. Oh yeah, definitely submissions. And then, you know, obviously there's different sects with everything. So like there's, you know, combat Sambo as well. So there's KOs in that. And go for not like full contact.
Yeah. That's very interesting. So anyway, it's been neat to see it grow. It's really pretty cool to still be a part of it. You know, we started this podcast in 2012, which is insane. That's 12 years. And I had a couple of really big gaps where, especially during COVID, like I really, really focused on trying to figure life out during that time period and stopped documenting it so much and started like really making big moves. Obviously, I'm here now. But it was interesting to be able to, if you go back and listen to the old episodes, we were very like much a part of all those things, and to talk to all the people involved and to see how far it's come. It's really neat. It's really neat that Brandon came here and announced it. Like, dude, that's crazy. So cool, man. So anyway, I'm just happy. I've been on the cloud since then. Let's do some Nashville versus Stockton, man. We'll wrap it up.
Okay.
Bang on.
Nashville versus Stockton.
All right.
So for anybody that doesn't know, I'm going to read a news headline, and if I found something else funny in the article, I'll attach that as well.
Okay, let's go, baby.
You're going to pick Nashville or Stockton. Two women scream racial slurs in traffic and then write obscenities on a Tesla that the person they were screaming at was in before driving off.
Stockton.
That is Stockton.
Sounds like Stockton.
That was a good call. Good call.
And I bet, does it say the ethnicities of the ladies that were screaming the racial slurs?
It did not.
Okay.
It did not.
Because I'll bet it wasn't what you think it was. I'll bet it was some other. I'll bet it wasn't like.
I do know the driver and the passenger of the Tesla that were victimized in this. They were Hispanic.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, Stockton's wild, dude. Be careful.
All right, number 2.
That's all I gotta say. I wouldn't drive a Tesla if I lived in Stockton.
That's too much of a liability. I feel like,
dude.
If you were in your hood whip going through, and there was just shit on fire when you.
Yeah, you got to be hood whipped at all times, man.
Drive something uninteresting so they don't do that.
It's a strategy.
Number 2, hundreds of dead fish stink up the nearby neighborhoods that are close to a lake. No one has any idea why the fish are dying, but the smell is awful, and apparently the authorities are investigating, but over the course of the week have found no reason for it.
Okay. At first, I thought that might be Stockton because there's some lakes in Stockton. But when you said the authorities are investigating it, it means that the people that live there are actually working and they're trying to figure out what the problem is. So that tells me it's probably in the South. It's probably Nashville.
Stockton.
Oh, Stockton. Shit. Wait, did it say which lake?
No, it didn't.
Wow.
No. So one of the things was one of the most recent calls, and the woman that was interviewed by the local news there said that she doesn't know how long the stank has been there, but when she got back from vacation from Southern California, she got home and smelled it.
Dead fish.
It's rough.
There's a bunch of man-made lakes in Stockton. So
really?
Stockton's so cornball, dude. So Stockton has like the world's deepest, like furthest most inland natural port. So the Delta goes all the way out to the Pacific. So you can you can get on a boat in Stockton and head west, and you'll end up at the Bay Bridge eventually, and then you'll end up going out to the Pacific. Yeah, I know, it's wild.
That is wild.
It takes a while, but 100%, it's connected, and eventually the salt water turns to fresh water, and that's just how it works. Yeah, that's how the Delta works. Okay. Having said that, there's a lot of homes built on the Delta. There's also a lot of homes built on fake man-made lakes near the Delta to make people feel like they're living on the Delta, but they're not on the Delta. They're on a man-made lake.
It's like Section 8 lake homes.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes, I know. And sometimes they actually put fish in these man-made lakes.
Oh, they stock them.
They stock them.
They Stockton them.
They Stockton them.
Okay.
Yes. Well, Stockton them is somebody homicided the fish.
That's what it might be.
Yeah.
That's
it was a mass homicide of the fish is what happened. Yeah. You can't have, I'm surprised people didn't fish them. People fish everywhere in Stockton. Like anywhere they'll fish in your koi pond.
Right.
Yeah, they don't care. They're fishing, dude. They're fishing and they're napping. If there's grass anywhere, if it's out in front of your business, if you have a little snow strip, they're laying down. Someone will be laying down. I'm not kidding you. You ask Blake when you see him. People are always snoozing, man. They're like, oh, there's some grass out here in front of Jack in the Box. Great place to take a nap. Let's chill, man.
Does anyone there have a job?
Some people do, but there's a lot of people chilling.
Okay.
A lot of chilling's going on. A lot of hanging with the homies.
Okay. A lot of fish homicide.
A lot of fish homicide, man.
Raw chicken was spotted going around the baggage carousel at the nearest airport.
Oh, that's Nashville.
That is Nashville.
Raw chicken.
Raw chicken, a 30-pound bag of it.
Who flies with was it?
There was no other information other than TSA making jokes about it.
Not even boxed. Just
loose chicken.
In a bag, maybe? Bagged up?
I'm sure it was in a bag because it was 30 pounds. I was like, I don't know how you're going to get that. I know they didn't take chicken fingers off and weigh it.
When we were in Stockton, the Chinese food, the food in Stockton's good. Mm-hmm. Like, it's good food. And I really missed the Chinese food from back home in a big way. As much
you are very picky about Chinese and Mexican out here.
As much as I talk shit about California, like the food is on point out there, in my opinion.
That was the only redeeming quality when I was there, by the way.
It's very good. So whenever I go back home, there's some good Chinese food places, and there's one in particular in Stockton that's really good. And I was thinking, like, could I take some sweet and sour home? If I
was this you?
Yeah, bagged it up.
Because you were on a flight recently.
Yeah, I was. If I bagged it up and then like somehow figured out how to seal that, could I just put it in my luggage if it was safe from puncture?
I don't know.
Because it's a carry-on. And I don't know if I'd have popped the liquid law, And then it's like, bro, it's sweet and sour chicken. Like TSA is not going to let me. I could feed the plane. Like, dog, come on. World hunger.
I kind of want you to do this the next time you go back, just so you could. I like. There's a vision in my head I have of you going up to the waiter at this Chinese food restaurant, and you saying, "Hey, sweet and sour, please," but I can only have 6 fluid ounces of the sweet and sour.
Yeah,
I'm getting on a flight.
I need it in 6 fluid ounce containers.
I need it in a little shampoo bottle to give you at the hotel.
Yeah, it's the little. Yeah, then they charge you $40 for it.
And then and then they think the chicken's a bomb, and then you get a cavity search. That'd be fun.
I really would have brought sweet and sour home. I mean, when my wife's mom comes out from San Jose to visit, she packs a whole suitcase full of tamales.
You mentioned this before.
Dude, I'm not kidding. It's like 35 pounds of tamales, and they are vacuum sealed. And then she puts like those ice packs around them and then wraps it in foil. It looks like drugs. When you open it up, you're like, oh, look, mom sent drugs. You know, it's all
Colombian
foil.
Bam Bam.
Yes, dude. You're like, oh, shit, cocaine.
Mama sent some booger sugar.
The dog comes running over. I won't say cocaine. You better let me snort all that.
He's trained also on tamales.
Just say no. It's rubbing his nose in it. Coughing. Achoo. Yeah, man. She'll send out like a suitcase full of tamales. It's wild, man.
Does she fly with them as well?
Yes.
Well, you must be able to do your sweet and sour then. If she could bring 30 pounds of tamales,
yeah,
you should be able to bring like a dish of chicken.
When we went to Mexico,
just don't leave it on the carousel.
Well, yeah, when Stella's dad passed, we went to Mexico. This is years ago. We flew back, and her family sent this special cheese up, and apparently, you can't bring this cheese into the country. There's some like no, and we had to sneak this cheese in through customs, and I was so fucking nervous.
What's the statute of limitations on this?
It's, Joe Biden's DOJ is going to come after me. Yeah,
they're too busy starting wars.
Cheese. As long as you gave me a slice. Did Hunter get some? Hunter likes cheese.
Yeah, I bet he does, especially from Mexico.
So we snuck this cheese in, and I was like, fucking all scared. I'm like, God damn it! Like, I don't want to get in trouble over cheese. It's so stupid. But man, her family was all over that cheese. We had people showing up like, you had the cheese? We had you have the cheese. Like relatives I didn't even know.
What the fuck was in this
Everyone's
cheese?
coming in to get a slice. I know, right? Right.
Maybe it was worrisome what was in the cheese.
Yeah, maybe it was. Maybe that's how we got the Volvo.
There's just all of a sudden several more zeros in your bank account. Like,
no kidding, right? All I know is everyone wanted some of that cheese, man. Okay, what else we got?
A disabled elderly man has been trapped on the 4th floor of a building for weeks because the elevator was broken and the super didn't give a fuck to fix it.
Oh, that's sad. Was trapped in the elevator?
No. He was in his apartment.
He just couldn't leave.
But he's on the 4th floor. He can't leave because the only way down for him is the elevator.
That's got to be Stockton. That sounds like a Stockton move.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder what part of town does it say?
I think it's just near Tracy.
Oh, okay. Well,
is that on par?
That's on the way. Everything in the Central Valley is up for grabs.
Okay.
Like anything can happen. Nothing surprises you. It's kind of all the same. From Bakersfield all the way up to Reading. It doesn't matter. It's all the same shit, man.
That's rough.
Yeah. Stockton's just more intense. The problem with Stockton is it's where the interchange is. Highway 5, Interstate 5, and Highway 99 cross with Interstate 4 there. So it's like a major hub for everything that goes down. It's all right there. It's the middle point between Northern and Southern California. So,
where all the crazy shit is, apparently.
Yeah.
An entire lane of a road decided to collapse as construction workers were digging into it.
Oh, well, Nashville has a serious pothole problem. It's got to be Nashville.
It was Nashville and it was downtown. I actually have to go a different way to work.
When I mean, the bar. And these are potholes like you go through on Monday, it doesn't exist. Tuesday, there's a gigantic hole in the road.
It's a sinkhole, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, more or less.
Potholes here are awful. The only place I've seen potholes worse are in Michigan.
And I don't really see them fixing the potholes. They don't seem to.
There's been 2 near, like, the right that you can make right before my house.
Yeah.
Has had 2 potholes on the right lane where your tires would sit if you're cruising correctly in the middle of that lane since I've lived there. And that'll be 2.5 years in a week.
Yeah. And these Southern folks are like, just drive faster.
Just drive faster.
That's all you got to do, man. You step on that accelerator. Don't brake.
Yeah.
These new cars, they're built for them.
If you go over it fast enough, your suspension doesn't know what happens.
It's like going over a speed bump, right? Yeah. You speed up.
Yeah, it's a jump at that point.
That's like kid logic. If I go fast enough, I'll just glide over it.
The last one is a woman was recently kidnapped and forced to pull money from multiple ATMs and banks, up to 4 of them. They even had her call a friend after her credit card, which she explained, I have never taken money out with my credit card. She was denied money at all these banks, and they told her to phone a friend to ask them for money to then pull out with a credit card that is not able to be pulled out.
So they absolutely, what a disappointment. Like, you work yourself up to rob somebody.
And
like, we're going to do this. Like, we're not just going to rob someone. We're going to kidnap this lady. Some rando, probably. I don't know if they staked her out. Obviously, they didn't do their homework.
Probably not.
You know, they pick somebody that's bankrupt and has to cash their checks at the cash checking center. You know what I mean? They're like, okay, here we go. We're going to rob this lady. We work up the courage. We get out there. ATM declined. So what do? They're like, okay, get in the car.
They then proceed to go to 3 different banks where that also happened.
They drive to another bank. Oh, God, no, they declined. Fuck. Okay, I know another one around the corner. They get in the car. God, you're not going to believe this guy's declined. All right. Okay.
Call your friend.
Call a friend.
And tell them to send money to that account, which was never the problem to begin with. There was money on the card. It's a credit card, and she cannot cash advance it. That was the issue.
Oh, they wanted her to advance. Boy, they didn't want to just steal from her. They wanted to give her a heavy interest fee. That's a real bitch.
It's only 4.9, bro.
Yeah, that's like when you make somebody pull money out of their credit card, that's kind of fucked up.
That's rough. Just take the cash, man.
That's like a asshole way to rob somebody.
Yeah. Like, and then proceed to then call no. We know. Call your friend.
I think I like these thieves. I want to be the guy that's like, no, use your American Express. No, cash.
Try each one.
No, I want you to use your Diners Club because there's like an extra charge on it.
Dude, if I feel like I was going to rob a lady and it was made clear to me within the first 10 seconds of the robbing that she only had 2 credit cards and no debit card and no cash, I'd be like, oh, even if I stole her credit card, she'd cancel it immediately.
Right.
She's not the one. I got to go. I'm not going to put her in the car and insist we drive to 15 different banks and then proceed with the same thing. Like she's explaining, I cannot get cash off this fucking card.
What do you think it was like the 3rd time everyone getting back into the car again?
Do you think they would be friends at that point?
Yeah, right.
She's like, guys, I'm sorry.
It's just
it's just,
I like your shoes. It's like getting in the car. It's like 3 fucking times. Now let's work together to solve the problem.
It's like it's one of those issues where like your card is declining for whatever reason because your bank thought you did something that you didn't do or something. And you're just like trying to buy a McChicken and you're like, I'll just go to Burger King. Here too? What the fuck?
Yeah, isn't that fucking crazy?
She's like, guys, I'm sorry. This never happens.
This never happens. I don't know. I really want to get this money for you now, though.
She's in. She's in on it now.
The 3rd time they're walking back to the car. It's like, fuck.
You got to imagine this. I believe it was a weekday. If I read correctly, it was either a Tuesday or Wednesday. It's like in the middle of a work day, and she's now spending, I don't know how long it takes at the bank anymore. But
did I even give a pick where I thought this was yet?
No, you haven't.
Jesus. This sounds very Southern to me.
Why?
It just sounds like something some hillbillies would be doing. No offense, but I don't know if I don't think Stockton would do it that way. I think Stockton would not hit the credit card the same way. They're going credit cards. They're doing some other scamming. I'm going to say Nashville.
You're right.
Yeah.
It was Nashville, I think, this past Tuesday or Wednesday.
It sounds like Nashvilleian to me. The whole have somebody transfer money to the account. That, by the way, already has money. Call your friend while I'm robbing you.
Yeah, the lady, I'd be like, if that was me and they're saying like, guys,
yeah,
I have 15, 16 people that I could call if it were my life on the line that would send me some cash for you guys. Non-issue.
This is the 3rd time that I didn't have money and you still haven't killed me. I don't think you're going to kill me.
A, B, not how this works.
Yeah, you don't have your shit together.
You could send me $1 million, still can't get you the money.
Guys, you're never gonna believe this. I literally have $5 million in this account, but I can't touch it. It's all tied up in Bitcoin.
It's all tied up in Bitcoin, and it can't come out of a fudging credit card.
Sorry, dum-dums. What a bunch of morons. Oh, well, that's the worst person to rob.
Yeah, somebody would just credit.
Just someone that's just stupid too. It's like gonna befuddle their way through the whole thing and really fuck you off your game. It's like if you're robbing somebody, you want that person to resist so you could fucking clack them and put them in line. Like you want to be black and white about it. You don't want to be like, this guy's actually kind of nice, but they're kind of dumb, and I'm trying not to. They haven't really given me reason to crack them across the head, so I'm not going to do that. But they are kind of slow and they're kind of fucking up, and they just string you along the whole time, and they end up just screwing up your whole robbery. You know what I'm saying?
What quality in an assailant, robber or otherwise, and you're the victim, what quality would they have to have for you to form Stockholm syndrome?
Me?
Yeah. Like what kind of guy would they have to be like, hey, he's not a bad guy, I like him?
You know,
would it be insisting that you get cash out of your credit card 5 times?
It would be,
oh, he's dumb.
The moment that I realized, or I knew, whether they knew I knew or not, that they were not going to hurt me. They didn't have the ability to do that. Once that's off the table, I can.
Well, I feel like that's where you feel safe, like you're not threatened anymore. I mean, like you
I
fall
I
for
could
these
get
guys.
with the program.
These are your little buddies at this point.
Tell me what you guys are doing. Let me see how I could help.
Yeah.
I'm very industrious.
I know how to code. You guys need a website.
They said learn to code, so I did.
You need to expand.
Yeah, we need to grow this operation. Who's in charge?
You looked at the organ trade.
Have you guys considered using LegalZoom to form an LLC?
If you get an LLC, you can do all kinds of illegal shit.
Man, dude, I was just reading about all these people that got these PPP loans and they had fake businesses.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what some of them did, the scam was they got like 10,000, 15,000, and then a lot of them just got forgiven.
I did not hear that. That's upsetting.
Yeah, it is.
Because
it's fucked up.
Money we didn't have as a country and tax money on top of that. So,
and then you got the other dudes that got like $250,000 and bought a Ferrari, big old house leased, and like it's like, dude, you didn't think, you really thought this was the end of the world? Like someone's gonna come calling for that Ferrari. Like,
I hope so.
Ferrari money, like you don't slide Ferrari money around without anyone noticing.
I hope so, because
I
felt weird getting the money that I got. I got the standard, whatever the stimulus things
were. Right.
And I put them towards helping me move because, Mrs. and I moved here around then.
So did I, by the way.
I used that money. I was like,
hey, they relocated my ass, man. That's what I did.
Yeah, I got out.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to put the money towards the move. I'm going to put the money towards getting the pantry full, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Apparently we need toilet paper because it's a commodity now.
Jeez, remember that? That was so ridiculous. So
stupid.
Yeah, I know.
But then I knew people who were getting like, I know they have 2 children, but all of a sudden they have 9.
Yeah.
And then they're going, as soon as lockdown ends, they're going on vacation. What?
Yeah.
What?
I knew some of those.
It was rough. It was a rough period.
It was rough, man, but I survived it. My school survived it. I opened up a jiu-jitsu school during COVID.
You did. It was ballsy.
Ballsy move. Moved across the country and did it.
At the time that you did it, it was ballsy because there's no way to know what was going to happen.
Sometimes I get down on myself because I'm like, it should be bigger. And I'm like, dude, you opened during COVID, you jackass. Like, you're not even.
We talk about this topic a lot, just in general, like you opening and it just being everything's a slow burn to build. But then I had never actually thought of it in the context of you opened in COVID.
Right? Like right in the middle of it.
Pretty direct COVID. Yeah. In the middle of it.
Yeah. That's kind of gangster I am.
It's wild.
It's fun. Well, what else are you going to do? Sit around? Cry about it?
You could, but you didn't.
Wait for the government to come help you? Yeah, okay.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
I don't want it's not, quote, help.
I don't want your nuggets. No. Keep your butt nuggets to yourself.
No, I get pretty fascist about that pretty quick. Stay away from me.
Stay away. Dude, sorry that we didn't have Jeff Glover. That's okay. He texted me, dude, I fell asleep. Not that big of a deal, to be honest. Not like it was unexpected. Yeah. Still got to sit down, talk a little bit.
Nice little chat.
Shoot the shit. Make sure you tell your buddies about Inside BJJ. We are a long-time jiu-jitsu institution. Been around for a minute. And I realize some of the young crowd might not know who we are. Might not have been exposed to the nonsense that we bring to the table. There's a lot of nonsense being brought to the table, and I do appreciate that too. There's a lot of podcasts out there. At one time, there's like 3 jiu-jitsu podcasts. There's a bunch of them.
And you were 2 of them.
I was 2 of them. Yeah. But there's room for everyone here. So right. Anyway, super stoked, man. If you get a chance, see us in Decatur. Make sure you check out BJJ every day for some dope jiu-jitsu gear. Make sure you go to cultist.apparel on Instagram.
Store link is in the bio. All profit goes to Guardian Gym.
Hell yeah. We will be back next week. We got Fight to Win tomorrow night. We got the seminar on Saturday. So we'll be back next week. See if we can get Jeff Glover lined up. I've been talking to Samir Chantre. He's going to start, he's doing a thing where they're representing jiu-jitsu athletes. So I'm really interested in understanding what that means.
Because sponsorship or
in terms of booking them, I think for deals and stuff. So almost like a sports agent sort of thing. I think.
That's awesome.
So that's very interesting to me. It's very exciting. It's a great time to be alive, great time to be part of jiu-jitsu, man. So cool shit. All right. I think we're good, brother.
Okay.
You want to play us out, big dog?
Sure thing. Bye, everybody.